They will be asked a series of 3 questions. Each question they will have 3 minutes.
Fighting the wind. It's the wind.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Each candidate will have 3 minutes to be able to explain however they want to. I ask that y'all do not interrupt them. I didn't say for y'all to go up there.
You're ready. Should council sit together and school board sit together?
So this will be a moderated Q&A. You will not be able to ask questions. I will be the moderator. You will be able to ask questions in an informal session directly after this if the candidates wish to stay. You are not required to stay, but these are your constituents. They will be voting for you. I would probably stay. At no time will the audience ask a question of the candidates or interrupt them. You're all going to be respectful of the candidates and those who are in the audience. If you don't like someone of their view, keep it to yourself. Like I said, an informal Q&A time will be after the official forum ends. Before y'all went up there, I was going to explain that the school board and the city council candidates will be separated. So could the school board please take your seats out in the audience? No.
You're next.
Yes.
I can't. It's windy up there.
Y'all like a water.
Are you? I'm the guy that goes up
Like I said, you get 3 minutes for an opening statement, 3 minutes for each question, and 5 minutes for a closing statement. So, if you would introduce yourself and then tell us why you're running, you can say anything you want. 3 minutes, at 30 seconds, I will grant you 30 seconds.
Can you turn up the volume at all?
Sorry, I will speak closer.
No, I just don't. We'll see what.
I think it's all the way up.
It's all the way up?
Yeah, if you hold it closer, we can hear you.
Yeah, closer to your mouth.
Grace, if you would like to go first.
I knew when you handed me this microphone, I was in the hot seat. My name is Grace White. I have lived in Godley for 6 years. I have come to believe this is my forever home, as my son so lovingly puts it. Godley opened their arms to me, no questions asked. And I'm so grateful for this. I have nothing but love, friendship, and community. And with the current happenings in our community with our local government, I would like to try and infuse a sense of companionship, camaraderie, where we work together to solve problems. Because I have a background in sociology, I tend to look at things a little different sometimes from some people. We need to look at, I use if-then statements. How is this going to affect someone? Who will it affect? What will it cost us? And what does it mean in the long term? What are the long-term costs, particularly in our infrastructure? And to do things like this, we need to be able to have open discussion, be able to discuss the issues with other people and take into consideration their thoughts and decisions and opinions might be different from mine, but they're entitled to them. And there's got to be a way we can work together to compromise on these issues. I'm not on anybody's side. I feel neutral because I know both sides. I know the new people, I know the older people. And together they can create an experience community and make it grow in the direction we'd like it to go. With Mosaic, I think that's a good start. We can see where they're going, where they're headed. But at the same time, I noticed that there was a planning and zoning committee in the works. I have yet to see any of that, but that's neither here nor there because it's probably here and I just haven't seen it. We have a great fabric of our community. We've got a lot of individual threads. Each person is a part of that fabric. They're an individual thread that helps make up the community. We work for our schools. We work for our cities. We work for our friends. Everybody in this community has to work together, and if we can come together, even compromising, we've done a great job. I have a background in a legal environment, so I know how to work with contentious matters. I would appreciate your vote. If you've got any questions, just feel free to ask me.
Thank you. Michael, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Michael Shinatiko. I've been in Godley since 2019. I'm originally from the Northeast. I agree with a lot of the statements that Grace has just made that we do need a collaborative effort to build a stronger infrastructure for our growing community. We need to work with everybody and to move forward. We also need to have a government that's going to be transparent and accountable, and we need our citizens to hold our city council accountable. We also need our citizens to be involved in our government, not just rely on the city council to lead us. Because yes, you may look to us as leaders, but everyone can be a leader, including our businesses, our schools. So I just hope, as you vote for me, I'm one of the newer people in this community that can bring a different voice, different perspective, and it doesn't mean that I'm more people that have been here a long time, but I think getting different perspectives and different views to work together and getting all those new ideas in place. Thank you for your time. I'm Scott Yarbrough.
Very good.
Scott Yarbrough. Moved here in 1978 with my mother Debbie. Grew up here, went to school here, built a business here, and now I would like to serve the community. I was going to open up with a joke to say that I pledge never to arrest my political enemies in order to rig a vote. But I won't do that. I think there comes a time in every city's, every small town's existence, it's happened everywhere, all over the nation, all over the world, where the people who built the community, the small group who built it, those who should be respected, and those who should, their family names should be respected. But there comes a time when they have to let go, because it just has become a point where it's us versus them. And that's this time in this city. All right, we have a massive amount of growth happening. And that growth needs to be controlled. It hasn't been controlled. In my view, we've had 10 years worth of time to do things like set up Michael's Planning and Zoning Commission. In January 2022, Michael proposed that. It got shot down. Roger didn't do that. Michael didn't do that. But the Godley establishment, that's what I call it, also the Godley run-up, they shot it. These things have to stop. We need, of course, we've got Mosaic coming, but we don't have the municipal master plan yet. I want the municipal master plan. I want to heal this division between some of the, I think it's a small group of people in the city who are really abhorrent to having unified company. I think we do something, for example, like the Founders Day.
Yeah.
Have a Founders Day, Okay, all the old families come in at the park. We talk about how the city was built. We love on each other, some tea, some burgers, and have beer because it's the park. But we can do that, and we can build traditions together moving forward.
Yeah.
Okay? We need, I want to make sure that the police and fire departments are steady, ready to go, manned, empowered for the growth that's coming.
Yep.
I want to make sure our infrastructure, like Grace, I want to make sure our infrastructure is ready, and we've got what we need. We've got to do something about these roads. We need to get with the county, try to get with the state. That needs to be done. So that's pretty much my plan. If you have any questions at all after this is over, come see me. I'll be happy to talk with you for as long as you need. Got my phone number, email address, everything I need right over there. I'll give it to you. You call me.
All right. Let's go, Roger.
My name is Roger Carlson. I am running to be re-elected to the City Council. This is my second term. I was on it before the past. The reason I got into it this time was there was a zoning change in my neighborhood. They wanted to put some apartments inside my home.
Oh.
I went to my neighbors, everybody that was associated with it. No one wanted it, but I got comments such as, the city doesn't care. We're not going to listen to you. Doesn't matter what we want. The city has a plan, and any developer can do basically whatever they want. I went into the last 2 years, while I've been on council, I have worked to hopefully change that. One of the things was to vote to have the start time from 5 o'clock that a lot of people can't get to 6:30.
All right.
People can show there, and that has made a big difference because we went from having 1 or 2 people, mainly family members or people that were simply there, having people that had nothing to do with what was necessarily on the agenda, but just being there to see us and listen and before every meeting speak their agenda, speak what they wanted to about the city. We enjoyed that. As far as zoning, at one time the city did just the bare minimum. I want to do more than just the bare minimum on zoning.
All right.
I want that people that drive by the road see what's happening. I want signs that put up there, not paid by us, but paid by the developer.
Yeah.
The person that wants to change. I've
There
got
you go.
mailing. We do mailing now. So everybody has an idea in an area where to change, especially if it's in the ETJ, where they know what's going on. As far as opening the city up, I've worked with Michael on getting transparency stars that goes out. We still haven't got that done yet, but it helps us. The state has a program set up to where everyone can see that and know what's going on with their city.
There you go.
That'd be great. We're trying to get the website for 2 years. Our website has got better, but it's still hard to understand or realize. At one time, if you wanted to know something about the zoning laws or what developers can or can't do, you couldn't find it. You had to go to a private business website to see what they wanted. That is supposed to be on our website now. You follow a link to a link to a link, and they get you there, which is what we wanted. A little bit, so people can come in and see what's going on.
Yep.
One last thing to do. I have voted with every single member of the city council in my last 2 years. I have voted differently than every single member of the city council. I know most of them for many years. I enjoy them. But we need to get. Anyway, that's my 30 minutes. I appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Woo! All right.
Roger, you get a keep it. So, each of y'all will have 3 minutes to answer. Each of y'all will have 3 minutes to answer each one of these questions. Please make sure you hold the microphone up towards your mouth so we can all hear you. What particular skills or experiences qualify you to serve as a city council member?
A couple of mistakes I've made in the city this last few years were because of inexperience, not knowing exactly what was happening. Listening to someone tells me something and not realizing that they weren't telling me everything I needed to know. So experience, since I've already been on it for a year, for a term, is a plus for me.
Yeah.
Second, I've been in, I'm a construction superintendent. My business deals with working with people, working with budgets, working with time constraints. So I can bring that to the city council, knowing how to do that. I get along with most people. I get along with just about anybody in the world. Always have. I don't yell and scream at work. I talk to people, get them to take care of the things I need to take care of. That's it.
All right.
Thank you.
Being a local boy, I've grown up here, etc., etc. And I know this political system like the back of my hand. But, no, it's just a joke. I am independent, folks. Like Roger, like Michael. You will see me tick you off sometimes. And you're going to go, what in the world did he just do? All right? Because I think for myself. I think for myself. You're not going to get that with a certain group that's here. They vote robotically. Robotically for whatever, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it, whatever the establishment wants, then that's where the vote's going to be. You've seen the ratings, you've seen the nudging, you've seen this. Folks, I care about what is good for we, the people. I don't do personalities, I don't do clicks, and I don't do good old boy. I do we the people, all of us together. I bring skills, 23 years in business, so I understand a little bit about budgeting. I write my own business contracts. My wife is 40 years in the legal industry, and if I have a legal question, boom, it's taken care of. She's a Juris Doctor, by the way.
Woo!
So I have skills, and also I think honestly what is mostly comes to the fore, and you're not I can laugh, is my degree in philosophy. Now, what does Socrates have to do with running a city, you say? Well, Socrates is the founder of Western epistemology, folks. And what that means is when you do philosophy, you learn to think. You learn to look at systems, plans, and solutions, and you see where they go wrong. And you see where they don't fit. You see where they're inconsistent. You see where they contradict each other. All right? It just helps you think well. And I think I can bring that to the table here. Plus, I'm a local boy. Love me. Right? Just for that.
First, I'm not a robot, so I'm going to be independent myself. I have my own views and ideas. What skills I do bring to the table is I do have a bachelor's degree in the life sciences. I work in a corporate world, so I understand how to be professional and to work with others. I have to work collaboratively with others. My primary skills is troubleshooting and investigating issues, which is what my current role is. So I know how to ask questions to get to the bottom of things and how to resolve issues. And I resolve medical issues for big laboratories. And I can bring those skills to the city council where I can ask the questions. I can also play the devil's advocate. I can ask the hard questions that people don't want to ask. And I'm not going to be easy, and I may be hard to listen to sometimes. Those are the skills. Thank you.
All right.
It's all heartaches. I have 20 years experience, at least 20 years in the legal system. And I've worked for courts, salvation courts, Supreme Court. I've done grand jury, I've been warrant, the 911 operator. All of those gave me the skill to relate to people. I also did maybe 10 to 15 years in the medical field in an emergency room. So I'm used to dealing with a lot of people in difficult situations and helping them work through it. Most of my career has been in the background, getting things done, saying, here's a project for you, how do we do it? It gets done, or it gets, I look for the right people or people in general to say, how can you help me with this? How can we accomplish this? I do also have a degree in sociology, which is the study of groups with a business background. I currently work for Methodist Church. I am their administrative assistant. I am also their administrative council's treasurer secretary. I belong to the Godley Lions Club. I am their co-vice president and treasurer. So I work with them on projects to help improve the community. I also belong to the Godly Women of Faith, which is open to any woman of any faith. And our goals are similar to help our community. I am also their secretary treasurer. Any questions you'd like to ask, like I said, please feel free to ask me. I agree with Michael. He's got investigative skills. Use them. He knows how to question. Use them. Scott, he knows the people. Ask him. Get his insight. If there's something you don't agree with, be sure and ask that person, how did you reach this conclusion? Can you please fill me in so I can have a better understanding? And that's my...
This is going to be a loaded question.
Oh.
What do you see as the current challenges facing the city?
The infrastructure. We need something done to bring our infrastructure current to what our growth is. I see that there's a plan for the wastewater. I can understand the engineer's direction that he's trying to put. But I would have more questions is, okay, you've determined this is the best way to accomplish this project of a wastewater plant. Our streets, I was so tickled when the pothole in front of the post office was repaired. It was just made my day. We have a beautiful park area, and there are surrounding empty lots that probably already have a proposed use, but we can expand the city park. For instance, we've got some musical venues coming in, and did you know we can raise our city's how people view our city by making ourselves a music-friendly community. There are grants available to take old, dilapidated buildings and turn them into low-housing income, which I believe Godley is sorely in need. There are not enough housing for our senior citizens or our medically disabled or medically challenged. And I'd like to see those items approached with you.
I think the city's facing a lot of challenges. Probably a priority is going to be infrastructure to make this city much safer, especially for our school children, so they can walk to school, get some sidewalks into the place. A lot of the things that Grace brought up are pretty much what I feel needs to be improved on in this city. I also think we also need to generate revenue other than just property taxes in the city. We need to foster businesses and also get a planning and development department in place so we can get some permanent revenue in that way, so we can curb property owners being the burden of the only revenue in this city. Thank you.
We got to get some employees in the city. This is the first and most primary thing to go right now. It's almost May, and we only have one employee in the city, and she's at home. It's not their fault. Not this guy, and it's not that guy, and it's not Jennifer Thompson. Okay, we've got to get some employees in here. Degreed, resumed, experienced, not Joe Bob and Susie Mae from the cafe.
Right.
All right. Yeah, hopefully people from out of town, don't even, if they'll come here. And we need to pay them well, all right? I think that's a primary concern. The second one is a planning and zoning commission immediately. Get the municipal master plan in place. Let's get a handle on this development. If we don't have the municipal master plan in place, then the state tells us we can't tell them a whole lot about what they can or cannot do. Is that not true? So, if we have it in place, then we can say, no, I don't think we want that here. And they can't say, well, it's been in engineering for 30 days, so boom, you're done. All right? We need some forward-thinking people.
Right.
We've got to have forward-thinking people in this city that are not thinking that are looking at all of us.
Right.
You, the old guard, the establishment, and the new guard.
Yep.
All right? That's where I think I can help most of all. And what was the question again?
I think you answered it. You did good.
What do you see as the current challenges facing our city?
All right, I had two of the employees and the planning and zoning and municipal master plan.
Yep.
I think those are critical. Yeah, I think that'll work.
All right.
The ideals put for you where I agree with them. Two things that we need to do. We need to slow down the growth to get the opportunity to catch up with,
Okay.
with the roads.
Yep.
One thing I would be working toward, and it's came up once before, at some point in time, 917, 2331 are going to become 5-lane roads. They're going to cut through the town, kill it. I would like to work with this highway department on putting a loop around the town. So when people come in here, instead of coming through the heart of the town, coming through the schools, which are already congested during the days, during school days, have a bypass to where they go back and hit 171 and it'll be on their way.
There you go.
That'd be one thing on Forest Tower Road and our congestion. At a meeting the other day, a man came to the city council. He had 30 acres. He wanted to put multifamily on it. Not against apartments or multifamily, but we don't have the infrastructure to do that at this
That's
point in
right.
time. We have to find whatever legal ways we can to either stop or slow down. The city has got to quit saying, oh, you're a developer, you want this, and that's how we can help you get this by doing, helping you get this permit, helping you get that. We need to start saying, slow down, we want the growth, we want to move up, but we don't want it just everywhere at one time. We have to catch up. Our schools, the bond we're going to vote on next week, or 2 weeks, it's just going to keep going and going and going if we don't catch up with it. All right. Hope that was
All right.
You have very specific items on this question. If elected, what would you hope be the 3 key accomplishments of the council during your term?
Number one, get our city council, get our city administration up and running with qualified people. Number 2, work on a way to where everybody can know what's going on with our city council. Get the website, get the Facebook page up. When we have a meeting on the website, it tells you we have a meeting. It gives you our first 4 or 5 pages, which A, B, C, D, do all this. The website should also have any and all attachments. So if there's a development coming in, if there's a zoning change, you can go to that, see the map, get out and look at it. So transparency, people getting the right out to know what's going on, be number 1. Another thing we want to do is where we can all sit down, disagree, and still shake hands at the end of the day. Talk to each other. It's not a them versus that, we need to quit that. Number 2, and we need to educate ourselves and the citizens on exactly what the ETJ can and can't do in the ETJ. The state and other politicians have really screwed that up for cities. They gave some people some help, but for the most part, it's all for the developers and not for the citizens of the county or the community. 3 things I want to get done.
I think that was 3.
Okay, that's 3. Great, thanks.
That's a good start.
Repeat the question, so I can think about it a little bit longer.
You see that philosophical degree?
Yeah, that's it.
If elected, what would you hope be the 3 key accomplishments of the council during your term?
2-year term. 2-year term.
Of the council, not just yourself.
I would hope to establish the city with experienced, like Roger, with experienced individuals running the city. I want to get the city functioning efficiently, transparently, and working toward the maximum efficiency with your money.
There you go.
I want to see folks, we got to find your money. I want to see a forensic audit. That's all there is to it. And I'm not looking to prosecute anybody. I'm telling you right here, right now, in public, I do not believe anything illegal occurred on campus at all. I'm a refusing to believe that. But what I do know is some very bad management has occurred. So I would like to see that. I would like to see the Planning and Zoning Commission and the municipal master plan put into place, in effect. Those would be the 3 things I would like to accomplish.
All right.
The 3 things I'd like to see completed if I'm elected at the end of my term is I'd like to see integrity brought back to the city council and to the government. And I think one of those steps is to do a deep dive with the audit so that we can bring trust back to our government. Whether something wrong is done or something's not wrong, but it's just so the air is cleared. The second thing I'd like to see is I'd like to see us put term limits on our local government, because when someone has too much power or time in positions of power, they can get complacent or do whatever they want. And I personally don't want that, and I hope you feel that way too. And the third thing I'd like to see is I'd like to see an updated zoning plan for the city. I think the last time we had one was in 2007. A lot has happened since then, and I think we need to have a clear and concise planning grid for the city. Thank you.
All right.
These gentlemen are hard act to follow. Most of them I agree with, most of their statements. The ones that I don't is because I don't have the information that they want me. The first thing I would like to see done is, in the recent council meeting, there was an item on the agenda that included a code of conduct for the entire council and the community. And I believe that would bring a lot of civility back. Bringing civility back brings back the ability to discuss items hopefully without all this disregard for manners and respect, which I feel I've seen a lot of. Secondly, the planning and zoning, but I'd really like to see the infrastructure at least to start being updated, where we can bring it from here to here, where it needs to be, in a time-efficient, money-efficient manner that we can all agree on and get done. There are different avenues that we can bring into that bring more revenue to our city, and as they say, so we don't depend solely on the property taxes. I want to see this community back to the community it was when I first got here. People are great. Give them a chance. Look at things from their side. The other thing is with annexation, I believe, if I read the information correctly, the city or the entity itself, the subdivision or the homeowner has to ask to be annexed. And if we get people asking to be annexed or subdivision, we have to make sure that we've got the infrastructure for those things to bring our people fully into our city.
Right.
I would like to see, and the third thing is that more participation. I expected a much bigger crowd today. I'm appreciative of the people that are here, but we need to have more people involved so they know what's going on, so they don't have to depend on a rumor for this or a rumor for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I said 3 questions, but I want to ask a follow-up question. Infrastructure has been talked about a lot today. How will you replace the roads? What funds will you use? How will you build that sewer treatment plant that's going to be underway? What funds will we use for that?
In reviewing the government site, there are grants available to help with those projects. The grants come from counties, states, federal, whatever, and we can ask for those grants. We can, we've got obviously several attorneys in the community that can help with these grants, or with forming the planning and zoning commission, that they can know how to go about getting that money. With the budget, looking at the budget and saying, well, we've got this for this, so let's put it there. We've got this for this, put it there, which is what I do with the accounts that I look for. Call them designated accounts. You put that money in those designated accounts and see what you've got left over to work with, and then you look at how do I increase these funds? What can I do to increase these funds to get them to where I need them to go?
There's several ways we can get infrastructure funds. One is grants, we can apply for grants. We could also support our local businesses with the local tax, city tax, foster more businesses. Also, we can hold developers accountable, or have them give us concessions on, help us build some of these concessions. We want to build a new neighborhood. We can help them to put some money towards funding for sewage, or for other things like that, or put in for sidewalks. We can ask them, give them contingencies. You can build so much, but you have to put a park in, some other infrastructure for the community.
I choose a designated champion for my question, Michael Poppins. I frankly don't know the ins and outs of the budgetary issues, folks. I don't. But that man right there, I know, is going to be a mentor to any new city council person elected, and I know he knows his stuff. This man too, welcome. Like Grace said, maybe there are grants. I don't know. As far as the roads go, it seems, as far as I understand it from working with Mom for many years on this one, Tech Stop controls, you know, the highway system, and the farm and market roads may be county or state, I'm not sure which, but we need to try to work with them to get something going. Like Roger was saying, Cass, what a pretty good idea, I never thought about that. That'd be great. Let's work with the state and the county where necessary, where we have funds to build our own stuff, then we've got it. Let's put it there. Right? I can't see how this city is not brimming over in its coffers. With you folks, all you new folks here, this tax money coming in. That money is somewhere. I don't know where it is, but you know, it's somewhere, and so that's the best I can tell you right now on those issues.
Working on because of sewer water problems. Don't fix the road, fix the sewer water problems that are being the road first, and then fix the road. Second, I would love to find out how many grants. I know there are grants and opportunities available for everything a city does. A lot of smaller towns have been work with the county on getting equipment out so we don't have to have the equipment to pay for it, but we end up paying for material and some labor, which helps a whole lot on that. We want to work with our Johnson County commissioners to help get our roads together. Mainly we need to figure out what the worst roads are, figure out what it's going to take, give us a 1, 2, 3 year plan to correct the roads, and then not only fix them or patch them, but actually repair them and make them into nice roads. Thank you.
I have a question for you, real quick, if you don't mind. You said infrastructure too, and that's a great deal as well. Is that not true? Sometimes, I mean, on the sewer plants and such.
Yes, there are federal grants and state grants. And all sorts of grants that we talk about.
One that worked for is doing nothing but doing grants. I don't know if we still have. I haven't heard from that before, no, as in the past.
So each of you will have 5 minutes now to explain for these fine ladies and gentlemen why they should vote for you or any other topic you wish.
Vote for me because you can tell I'm a great speaker. Basically, my main concern, my main goal is for everybody to know what's going on except that. I like the city council meetings being at 6:30. Without the current, depending upon who you get in there, it will go back to 5 o'clock. I like to where at the beginning of each of our meetings, people come down, they can speak whatever they want to speak about. It's not said you can only speak on these topics, you can speak on whatever you want. At one recent city council member meeting, that was tried to be changed. You could only speak on what was there that day. Luckily, the way it's wrote inside of our minute meetings, you can speak whatever you want. It needs to stay that way.
Yes.
Period. That gives everybody the right to come and talk.
Thank you.
One thing, as I said, is we've all talked about infrastructure. We've all talked about controlled growth. I have voted against all apartments. Not that I'm okay against apartments, but we just had a man come in the other day with 30 acres, like I said. He wants to build 30 acres of apartments.
No. Absolutely.
This is not what this town is. It's open spaces and moving around, and people, even the lots are the same size. I will not vote for apartments. I will not vote for any homes smaller than what the city calls for, 7,500 square feet, as far as your lot sizes. Try to stop that. A developer comes to us and says, this is what we want, we stop it. That's not a big lot. 100 by 75 foot. But that's what the city has said they want. That's what we should have. We should work with our developers that are coming in and not just say whatever you want is fine with us. Thank you very much. We should say this is what we want from you to help you.
Thank
to help
you.
get you in here. Park. Well, we have a park. No, you don't have a park. You have a runoff system that you have to have by state law. It's not a park.
Thank you.
And someday that's going in August, that's going to be a nice hard thing to play on. This time of year, it's going to be full of water and mosquitoes. That's not a park.
Thank you.
Well, you dance pretty good.
I wish I did have some rhythm. But I would appreciate your vote, for sure. I enjoyed being on the city council. It gets exasperating some points in time. But I do feel progress has been made, and I do feel I make a difference on it. Thank you.
Speeches.
Folks, independence is key, in my view, in this particular election cycle. Independence from any particular social group or from any particular social group. I didn't want to come here and necessarily run anyone down, but I'm going to tell you, because it's too close, I'm going to tell you, if you want to vote for the establishment monarchy in this town, and you know who they are, they're A.C. McGehee, Jan Whitehead, David Ham, and David Williams. Those are the people who are the mayor's team. Okay? will say, there's no genes. Come on, folks, okay? This is the time where the small town breaks itself from those who feel themselves as the divine right of kings. Okay? And they rule, and we are nothing but unwashed plebes. Okay? Now, I know that sounds harsh, and I know that sounds negative, but folks, someone was arrested on a charge that the district attorney of Johnson County laughed out of their office. For one reason, she was arrested, and that was to rig a vote so that those individuals could remain in power. There was no question that that happened. I've known those people for 40 years or more, folks. I thought I did. It still gets me mad. It happened on February 7th. I swear, I will never do that to you. If you turn out to be my political enemy, I'll love you anyway. Right? Okay. Next, some positive aspects. I'm going to tick you off once in a while, just like Roger, because I'm going to think for me. What I'm going to think for me is what is in the best interest for all of the city, everyone involved, for the monarchy, for the old guard, and for the new guard. What's best for all of us? That's where I'm going to go. James Pribble was best for all of us. That's why I supported that. I got in trouble with the Gen crowd on that. And I got in trouble with the AC crowd because at just about every city council meeting I called him out for what he was and what he did after February 7th. Right? To me, that accomplishes my February 15th promise to you. I don't do personalities, I don't do clicks, and I don't do good or bad. What I will do is lead the people, all of us, together. I think that, well, the things that I've said here, infrastructure issues, transportation, sewer, forensic audit to find out where your money is. Again, not to prosecute anybody, not for revenge, but just in order to find out where the money is. Independent thinking, municipal master plan, and a Founders Day. Let's have a Founders Day. Let's go hug on all those old guard folks and see if we can't heal these divisions in here and build new traditions together.
All right.
I'm asking for your vote because I want to see this city move forward and to heal its past wounds. Also, vote for me because if you want integrity and honesty and someone who's not going to BS you, vote for me. I'm going to tell you the truth. If I don't have the answer, I'll look for the answer. I'll tell you, I'm not going to have all the answers.
Yeah.
I'm like most of you. I have a full-time job. I work. I know how it is to work every day hard. I work 2 jobs. I support a family. So it's not easy, but I want to see that our money is used well. Additionally, vote for me if you want to see developers held accountable and to help build our city with a better infrastructure to accommodate.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
You gotta keep all of them, huh?
Once again, they've all said a lot of the same things that I believe in. One way that I look at things, and I've always told my children, I'll love you no matter what. That does not mean I have to like your actions.
Right.
I hold that same attitude with everyone in my life, everybody I meet, everybody I interact with. I like you, I enjoy you, but that does not mean I have to like your actions.
Right.
If you've done something, or I feel that it's one friend I asked recently is, what have I done to offend you? Please tell me so I can correct it or explain it. If I feel I'm in the right, I will explain it. If I'm in the wrong, I'll accede and say, okay, you're right, maybe I can do that and I need to change it. I try to look for different avenues, different solutions. For instance, currently I'm attempting to set up an Alzheimer's support group. feel that that's something this community needs. So even if I'm not a part of the council, I will still work for the city and bring things to it that I feel need to be here, people that need to be supported. And I'd like to ask for your vote in helping me accomplish those goals. Thank you.
I feel we'll give a round of applause for the third position.
Thank you for showing up. Yeah, y'all, very much.
Only now we sit down.
So who do I get to hand the torch to?
I'm going to be loud. Today is my mother's birthday. So I would like to sing her happy birthday because she doesn't like it, but I do. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Grace. Happy birthday to you.
By the way, I'm 67 today.
All right.
And a cancer survivor as of a couple months ago.
If I could get those who are running for school board trustee.
The stage.
The conference.
Should have told a lot of things in that mess. It's not easy. Make notes you end up reading. I know.
I just want to say that I personally invited the incumbents via email multiple times so that it could not be said about me that it was last year that I properly invited them.
So, same rules. Caleb, if you'd like to go first. You have 3 minutes.
Good, I guess, afternoon now. My name is Kayla Lane. I have been in Godley for 4 years. My husband and I, Kyle, we've been married for 13 years. I have a almost 11-year-old boy and an almost 9-year-old girl. And then I have a 1-week-old yesterday baby that Jamie's so kindly watching for me. My family bought a small farm here 4 years ago. Honestly, I was hoping to just ride my horses off at the sunset and tend to my chickens and keep to myself. Honest to God, that's what I thought my life would be. And I accidentally stumbled upon some issues that I found in the school district because of my children. And it was really during COVID that I saw just the educational needs that my kids had that were not being met in the school district. I have fought for the last couple of years for them. Last year I did withdraw my children and I am homeschooling them with the co-op here in town that I also helped bring to this town. I found Miss Sissy Hardcastle, and I helped bring this co-op to this town because it was much needed. A place where children who are struggling, who don't fit into the square hole, and they might be a round peg. And so that co-op has been amazing. It's busting at the seams with kids that just need a little more support and have a little more educational needs. I go to Open Door Church in Burleson. I'm on the worship team there. I'm also on the women's leadership team there. And I've been involved in the city since December 2021. And what opened my eyes to the city, I'm not a city resident. I do live in ATJ. But what opened my eyes was when a tiny lot development was being planned literally right next to my property. And 4,000 square foot lots. And I'm sorry, there is just absolutely zero need, in my opinion, for 4,000 square foot lots. So I showed up to the city council meeting and I spoke out against those tiny lots. I have been fighting for freedom of speech in the school district for a little over a year now, and it still appalls me. It's 3 minutes. 3 minutes does a parent or a taxpayer get to speak at a school board meeting, and there should be zero reason that any parent is denied the right to speak. In Fort Worth ISD, they limit it to 30 minutes of the meeting. It's a huge school district. I see no problem with that. If you want to run your meetings efficiently, limit the total time that parents or citizens get the right to speak, but don't deny them the right to speak. That's just absurd. In fact, it's a violation of your constitutional rights. Something that they don't teach in school anymore, that I'm teaching my children, is the Constitution. Another thing is, sorry, about 30 seconds. Sorry, I'm long-winded sometimes. I would like to see transparency as well. The parents that do show up are few and far between to school board meetings, and they show up to learn about things like the budget. And those should be discussed openly. They should be on the big screen, blown up where you can see it from the audience, and we should have full transparency on what's going on with our tax dollars. And there's a lot of tax dollars going to that district. Thank you.
I have to have a speech written or I'll go on forever. So, I want to thank each of you for coming. My name is Nova Olson. I'm running for Godley ISD School Board Trustee. I've been married to my sweetheart, Scott, for 32 years, almost 33. I have five grown children and 7 grandchildren, hopefully more are coming. I'm a registered nurse. And my husband and I also are crazy, and we foster dogs, which out here, you guys worrying me out. Anyway, so I believe children need strong, reliable leadership in education. Naturally, the first and most important leaders are parents.
Amen.
Parents are best equipped to make decisions in every area of their child's life, including education. Where educators and administrators once valued and respected the parent's voice, they have over time methodically implemented curriculum and policies that insidiously replace parental roles. Last year, I ran across a sign, something I saw online, but held by a mother, that I absolutely identified with. I do not co-parent with the government. Parents' voices should be first, most important, and final. The educator and school administrator roles should be to facilitate core education in reading, writing, math, and history, and not a rewritten history, but a true and honest history so we may truly learn from our past. Our schools should make every effort to be transparent. Transparency of curriculum content, detailed spending, salaries, as well as concise student performance data. Information should not be hard to find or understood by parents and taxpayers. Parents in the community should be made to feel at home and invited to the table. Members of the community should not fear legal retaliation like criminal trespass simply because what is said is controversial or not in agreement with the district. And school boards should never use police, ISD police, to silence those they disagree with, like things that we've seen in Loudoun County and Round Rock should not ever happen. Along with transparency comes fiscal responsibility. This should be self-explanatory. If you are spending our hard-earned money, spend it wisely. My family must make wise financial decisions and stay within our budget. The same applies to school districts. Bells and whistles, fancy structures, and expensive technology are absolutely not necessary to accidentally educate children. Simplicity plus quality educators equals success. In summary, I'd like to get back to small town values. Parents know their children best. Be honest and open. Be responsible with my money.
You have 3 minutes to answer these questions. What motivates you to be a school board member?
My main motivation is what I've seen. Obviously, my children are grown. I have 5 children. My last child, we were in the Eagle Mountain Saginaw district, and I saw so many difficulties that by the time my last child was a sophomore, I said, that's my last year. I'm not gonna deal with this kind of politics, with this kind of nonsense going on in the schools. Drugs, sex in the bathroom. I mean, having to lock bathrooms. It's ridiculous what's going on in our schools right now. And what happened in Loudoun County, Virginia, what happened in Round Rock. We have school boards that are not listening to parents. We have school boards that are not making responsible fiscal decisions. So, you know, I didn't have the time when my children were involved, and I really didn't understand how, to be honest. But I saw what's going on here. You know, we actually had conversations with Kayla, and I said, you know what? I'm not just going to complain. I'm not just going to talk about it. I'm going to get involved. So here I am, trying to put myself out to this community to say, we're going to be honest and open. We're going to be transparent. If a parent comes, I want your questions answered. I want your voices listened to. If something's going on in our school, I want you guys to be able to come to us and ask us questions, and we're not going to stonewall you. I'm not going to give you a political answer. I'm not about that. I don't believe in political BS. I don't believe in answering somebody, you know, to say, well, I have to talk to the attorney. If you have a legitimate question, I'm going to answer it, okay?
So I am a member of the SHAC committee. For those of you that don't know what it is, that's the School Health Advisory Committee. I was a parent on the committee when my kids were in the district. Now I'm a community member. Something that I got done our last SHAC meeting was institute some guidelines, because there is a new health curriculum that will be adopted sometime in the near future, and I got guideline questions made. So when these curriculum providers come into the district with their curriculums, I want to know, is this curriculum created in Texas? The social emotional learning curriculum that they originally brought, Second Step, from Loudoun County, Virginia, was just abhorrent to me. I want to see curriculum that aligns with our values. Texas is different for a reason. There's a reason people are moving here, and I want to see curriculum from Texas. I also don't want any equity. If the word equity is in the curriculum, I don't want it. We are for equality, equal opportunities. There is no need for equal outcomes. That's Marxism. That's socialism. That's communism. So I got that passed as well. Another thing, no transgender ideology. If a student has issues with that, that's something for that parent and that student, and that's something that should be addressed personally and privately. I don't want my kids educated on that. I don't want anything that has to do with transgender ideology in there. Another thing that we got, I can't remember, but there were several really good things that we got to the table, and I'm super appreciative of that, and hopefully that's going to keep bad curriculum from coming into the district. Another thing that got me involved was the masks. When Governor Abbott placed a mask mandate, it was for kids 10 and over. Our district had masks on preschool students. 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds wearing masks all day long. I heard from several parents that their kids were complaining they couldn't breathe and they were not given a mask break. A little toddler. I will say my kids were the only students in this district that never had a mask on their face, because I sought a chiropractor to write my kids a medical mask exemption that Dr. Deere wanted to not approve and wanted me to have online education for my kids. I fought him with the ADA, and I said that my son is special needs. He has an IEP. Are you going to send an aide to my house to teach him every day? I know that your district does not have the resources for that. So my kids were let into the district, and I was told they were the only students that did not have a mask on their face. But guess what? I still fought the mask mandate, not for my kids, but for other kids, because I saw what it was doing. And now we see all these emotional issues that our kids are facing that I've been talking about for years. And so I fought that tooth and nail, and honest to God, I'm one of the main reasons that was lifted that school year. I got a petition together from parents, had almost 300 signatures, which for a district this size is a lot of parents. I was denied the opportunity to speak about masks at several school board meetings and a PTO meeting. That's a parent-teacher organization, and you don't allow parents to come speak about what's important to them and for their children. That is completely absurd to me. I finally spoke up at a school board meeting when they were talking about masks because I was told that's not on the agenda, we can't discuss it, but the school board was currently talking about masks. I stood up and I said, I just want to give you this petition. Who can I give this to? And the superintendent said, you can give it to my assistant. So I walked up my petition to the superintendent. Me and about 10 other parents waited around till almost midnight that night for them to come out of executive session so we could talk to the school board about why we were against the masks. We had documentation, we had education, we had done our research. We just wanted to share that with them. The superintendent told me that he couldn't win for losing, so I said, take yourself out of the equation. I said, do a survey of parents. I said, if I'm in the minority, I'll shut up, but I don't think I am. That we saw how that survey went and the masks were lifted. So there are things that I've been doing behind the scenes, not being on the school board, and I feel like I can be even more effective on the school board. This is my second time running for school board. I did run last year, and like she said, I don't want to just complain, I want to do something about it.
There is two parts to this question. What are 2 to 3 strengths of which our district can be proud? Why do you see these as strengths? And what are 2 to 3 weaknesses of which our district can improve? Do you have a plan on how you would like to improve those? If so, how?
A strength that I see is really good involvement in sports. I see a heavy focus on sports here, and there's honestly nothing wrong with that. I love sports. I love the fact that it's a way of bringing families together. But I'm going to go ahead and follow that up with one of the negatives that I see is that there is a heavy focus on sports and not a heavy focus on academics, and that is clear when you look at our academic scores.
Amen.
My son was one of those students that struggled to read. And I had a principal tell me, oh, it's no big deal. We have this amazing technology now. We can have everything read to him. And I said, absolutely not. I said, are you going to expect his employer one day to read his application to him? No. Reading is a fundamental skill, and it needs to be taught. And I was told there are high school students that can't read and that have things read to them. And my jaw literally dropped to the floor. And I said, and you don't see anything wrong with that? So reading, I'm sorry, but reading should be first and foremost, the most important. You learn everything by reading. And I would love to see our reading scores improved. Another thing that I think the district is now doing well is they brought in a communications director, and they are doing better at communicating through email and through social media. So I do appreciate that position. It was severely needed of having more communication. Something else that I think that can be improved on, as I've said before, is really listening to parents and community members at your school board meetings. That's the only opportunity that we have to voice our opinions and our concerns, and just really allowing us the time, our 3 minutes, to speak about those things and to talk in front of the board, and for them really to take them to heart and listen.
That's okay. You took my hand. Obviously, I've heard it said, if you want your child to excel in sports, Godley's a great place to be. And I'm with Kayla. I love sports. I've participated in lots of sports. I'm coaching. I've been a soccer referee. I played soccer. Heart breaks my heart. I can't play anymore. I love sports, all sports. But with our academics, I would rather cancel every single sport if we need to, right? To write what's going on academically. If that's what we have to do, let's cancel every sport. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. But if we have to get in and we have to rewrite the story by saying we got to start over and get our academics and get those number one, I think that we set a good example about what's the priority for the kids that are coming up through this district. And I think that we have to have, and again, this is basically the same thing as Kayla said, we have to have a way for parents who are struggling, who have a child that's struggling, who, if there's a problem in the school like bullying, or sexual assault or, serious problems, we have to have a way so parents have a voice, that they don't feel like they're being stonewalled or they're being written off if something is happening. I'll tell you right now, and I spoke about this. I don't agree with the ISD, Godley ISD police department. I think that's dangerous. I think that's very dangerous. And what happened in Loudoun County, a 15-year-old girl was raped in a bathroom, and their superintendent hid it, covered it up, and then they arrested that girl's dad for coming to a school board meeting. He was distraught about the fact that something wasn't being done, and it makes me sick to my stomach. I spoke about it. When I was raped when I was 15. I can't imagine that girl, she was written off. She was written off, and it makes me angry. It makes me so angry. It makes me shake that someone would be willing to essentially silence what happened to a girl for the sake of their reputation. Nonsense. Not gonna happen on my watch.
So you each gave some weaknesses, but you didn't answer the aspect of, do you have a plan? And if so, what is that plan?
Well, the plan is honestly to get in there and look at what's going on. And I'm sure Kayla will say the same thing. One of the problems here is we can't get questions answered. We do open records requests are denied, they're not answered, kind of the same thing that's going on with our city council in a way. Oh, we have to run this through the attorney, or we have to do this, or we have to do that. Just answer my question. Just give me the information. And so what I hope to do is get on the school board so that I can start getting information. That if a parent asks me, I can say, well, now I have access to, which is, we shouldn't even have to get, we shouldn't have to get elected to a school board to get that information. But if that's what I have to do, then that's what I'm going to do. Sometimes I gotta take a scab off a festering wound. I'm sorry, I'm a nurse. I apologize if that's a little yucky for you guys. We gotta clean out a wound. Sometimes it's painful, it's difficult, So I think my plan is to find out the information that maybe I don't know. I'm not sitting here telling you I know all the information. What I want to do is find the information so that we can start doing some things to actually affect change.
With our academics, I would like to see teachers freed up. Teachers went to school to educate our children on math, reading, writing, and arithmetic, not social and emotional learning. They're not psychologists. They are not trained to correct our kids' mental illnesses. If the school district wants social and emotional learning curriculum, they should bring in a sole source and an educator, hopefully with a psychology degree, to teach that. That should not fall on teachers. They are overworked and underpaid already. Teachers should be freed up to teach core academics. And I truly believe if that happened, we would see a natural increase in our academic scores. Like I said, a focus on reading. 38% of our students are proficient in reading. That's sickening. That absolutely disgusts me. My son, since I've homeschooled him, has grown a whole school year in reading, and he was constantly 2 years behind in reading. No matter how much work I did with him at home, no matter how much tutoring I did, no matter what I had on his IEP, I am seeing him improve. So it just goes to show it's not the student's fault. There is something going on in our school that is causing this issue. I truly believe it's a lack of phonics. I believe we're teaching phonetic awareness and we're not teaching phonics. Get back to the basic. Phonics has worked for 100 years, more than 100 years. Let's teach phonics. The other thing with freedom of speech, I would like to see BED local amended to like the city council where parents and community members can speak on any topic. Why does it have to be on the agenda? It's 3 minutes. They should be able to speak on anything that they want to for 3 minutes, as many districts allow. Many districts allow you to speak on any topic. That's one thing I've been doing at city council meetings, is showing up and speaking about school issues, because I'm not allowed to do that at the school district. That should be changed.
What do you see as the role of technology in education for the future of our students?
I believe technology should be taught in a class. When I was in school, we had computer class. We learned Microsoft Word. We learned Microsoft Office. We learned keyboarding. That was a class. That was not all day, every day. My daughter in 2nd grade came home asking me for blue light glasses because she stared at a Chromebook all day. When I found that out, that really made me mad. My kids are not in school to stare at a computer all day. And I truly believe that's one thing I appreciate about this homeschool co-op is everything is done with pencil and paper and textbooks. And I believe that's how students learn. They do not learn on a Chromebook. So I believe that that should be reserved for a class and not all day, every day. And I believe that if you look at the scores and the heavy technology uses across the state, you will see as technology use has gone up, our academic scores have gone down. And the online STAR test, I know there's nothing we can do about that, but legislatively I'm part of Families Engaged, and we are working to have that taken care of. But online STAR test is just disgusting. People need to be able to write pencil and paper, especially math problems. How do you do a math problem and write it out, show your work on a computer? So I believe technology has a limited place in academics.
I definitely agree with everything that she said. One of the other concerns, though, about technology is that we're spending a whole lot of money for technology that has a very short shelf life. That means that if we buy it now, it's going to become obsolete, it's about 5 years for some of that really expensive technology. And then what's going to happen? They're going to ask us for more money. We're going to keep replacing those things. You can sharpen pencils are like 15 cents. Maybe in Biden they're 25 cents. I don't know. Sorry. But I agree wholeheartedly that we have way too much reliance on technology. Now, agree with Kayla. Teachers are not given the freedom to just go back to simplicity, right? They're being pushed. We have, the Texas Association of School Boards, we have, TEA, we have all the teachers, we have all these organizations that are essentially political organizations. They're not education organizations. They're not concerned with Kayla's son who struggles with reading. They're not concerned with, your child who's struggling with division, long division, right? Those are political organizations. And so technology that's being pushed is very expensive, and I agree with Kayla. We don't see scores going up. Those are not improving. So let's not keep beating a dead dog, right? Let's change the conversation about technology and start going back to simplicity.
I want to ask one more question without bashing or praising the bond. I want to know how you're going to be a good steward of our hard-earned money.
Well, I think I touched on it earlier. We don't have good visibility to the details. So, I'm trying not to laugh. So really, we need good information, right? If we don't have an idea of where the money is being spent and how the money is being spent down to the detail, how can we really figure out how to spend money wisely? I printed out what's online. It's a one-pager. I don't know how a school district this big, that's not the whole story. So, I for years ran my household. Not a big budget, I'll tell you that. But, I had to, back then, I wrote it down on a spiral notebook. I wrote down all my, I did the whole budget, we have to have all the information so that we can start understanding how we're spending money. You know, I've already said in my opening speech that I don't think we have to have fancy bells and whistles, big, just put on elementary schools that look like college campuses. Okay? What we need is to look at the details, and we need to cut things that aren't value added. You know, I don't know if you guys know what a Six Sigma yellow belt is. My husband's a Six Sigma black belt, continuous process improvement expert. You know, I come from that background. I want to look at things. I want to figure out how to save money, how to be more efficient. That's how I plan to spend. How I spend my money is how I want to spend your money.
With the bond, I open records requests a debt schedule. I wanted to see what this bond is going to do to our current debt that the district has. And the reply I got was no responsive records found. Now, mind you, this bond was already voted on by the board. You're telling me that the board voted to approve a bond that they did not look at how it would affect our current debt? I surely hope that that's not the case. Godley ISD is the 11th highest taxing ISD entity in the entire state of Texas. We have a little over 2,000 students. I don't understand the need for that high of taxes. Like she said, I attended budget workshops here and I learned nothing about our budget. I'm a parent that goes to a school board meeting to learn about the budget, and that should be explained. If a parent wants to find out about the budget and they're at a budget workshop, they should be able to hear about the budget. And with this bond, I mean, what I've seen of the breakdown of this bond, of the spending, honestly, I just can't figure out where they're coming up with that $889 million. I just don't see it. I don't know where all that money's going. I think it's far too much to ask this town that has almost a 40% poverty rating. They cannot support a bond of that size.
Each of you will now have 5 minutes to tell us why we should vote for you.
Again, my name is Kayla Lane, and this is my second time running for school board. Like I've said before, I've been heavily involved trying to make change in this district for the last several years without being on the school board. But last year, I realized the need to stop just sitting on the sidelines and try to get into the race. And so I did run last year for school board, and I am running again this year. Like I've said before, my main goals are freedom of speech at school board meetings for parents and citizens and taxpayers. I'd like to free up teachers and focus on core academics, pencil, paper, textbooks. I would like fiscal responsibility and better use of taxpayer funds. An $889 million bond is just not prudent, guys. It's just not prudent. I would like transparency. The current board hides a lot of things in closed session that I believe should not be done in closed session. I would like to see more things discussed in open session. For instance, the last school board meeting, they went into executive session, they came back in and they voted to approve purchasing land, and they didn't say where that land was. So, I mean, there was very little transparency on what they had just voted to approve. Another thing is I would like to see parents not afraid to voice their concerns. I can't tell you how many parents come to me. My inbox is constantly flooded with parents saying they have concerns, but they are afraid to go to the district for fear of retaliation for their kids. And retaliation is a real thing, y'all. My daughter saw it in 2nd grade with her teacher when I was running for school board. So retaliation should be a thing of the past. It's not these kids' fault. There should never be retaliation going on. And at the end of the day, we are all free thinkers. We are given that right in the Constitution, and we are not going to agree on everything, and that's okay. We don't have to have a unanimous vote across the board like we see at every board meeting. It's okay, like Roger said earlier, to vote no on some things. I would like to see independent school board candidates that are not afraid to vote no and that don't just rubber stamp everything that comes across the table. Thank you.
So, essentially what we've been seeing going on is a changing of our culture by getting at our children, okay? That's what happens in other countries that institute a Marxist or communist ideology. They start with the minds and hearts and minds of children. We're seeing pornographic material available to children, grade school children, okay? Children can't unsee pornographic material, okay? We have got to get a handle on the type of material that's coming in. We have a responsibility to protect these children, okay? Never. I don't even care if it's a senior. We do not have any place having pornographic, sexually graphic material available in our libraries, okay? When you get to be 18 and you're out of school and you want to make foolish choices by exposing yourself to pornography, I hope that children don't. But we're not going to have it in our schools. We're not going to have transgender ideology. We're not going to have people who come in and do drag shows. No, absolutely not on my watch, not in my town. We're going to protect children. We're going to make them a priority, okay? We're going to make sure that academics is taught in our school. We're not going to socially engineer them. We're not going to gear them towards a Marxist society. And, if that happens at other school districts, that's on them and their parents, but not here. We've got to get parents who feel, and I guess I'm kind of restating what Kayla said, parents who feel like if they have something important to say, that they're welcomed with open arms. That if they come to, and I understand that time limits are important so that we can get business done. I do understand that. But I think if a parent is concerned, they have an issue, and they come to a school board meeting, that they should be, I think a school board member should be willing to answer a question. If I have a parent standing before me and they said, my child feels like they're being bullied and no one's listening, then I want to, as a school board member, say, I hear you. I'm not going to sit there on the dais. I'm not going to sit there and just blankly. I want parents to understand that they can come to a school board member. We're not just people sitting up there giving a rubber stamp. We're here to listen and to improve what's going on. And that means that we listen to, we're elected by people and we serve people, right? I'm not here to serve a superintendent. I'm not here to serve a political agenda. I'm not here to serve TASB. And we, guys, I think Kayla would agree, we've got to get away from that. There's some schools that are starting to move towards that. We have got to get away from those organizations that are pushing ideology that we don't agree with, that we don't want here, okay? Small town values, family values, listening to parents, protecting kids. I'd like your vote if you agree.
So that's all for today. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out, spending a little bit of your Saturday with us, getting to know these candidates a little better. Thank you, candidates, for coming out. I know y'all are busy walking door to door and answering all the questions on social media and on your phones. So I really do appreciate it. Also want to thank Miss Yarborough for letting us use her facility, and Woody's Inflatable for letting us use their chairs today. You may now talk to the candidates of your choice and tell them how you dislike them.